It is no surprise that Dayz has managed to gain an abnormal amount of popularity, let alone a huge community and supporters. Truth to be told, the standalone version of the game is nearly reaching its full decade of its entire existence. Let's also not forget that the mod that was released prior to the standalone version of Dayz was already a success as it is. For someone who looked up to Dayz for so many years and was truly fascinated with its absolutely breathtaking open world, I must admit as days passed by, the more I realized that Dayz is coming to its conclusion. Sure, those who supported the game from day one are true fans, they're the ones keeping the game going in numbers. But as far as having someone new cherish the original open world game that we as kids once upon a time looked up to, well, those people are harder and harder to come across. Dayz is no longer the same. Is it because Dayz is no longer ideal for today's transparent gamers? Is the competition becoming more severe? Or worse yet, has Dayz finally reached its final days? In 2022, Dayz on Steam is mainly held by mods. If you take vanilla version of Dayz, there's not much to it. And if mods weren't available today, well, Dayz would quickly start to vanish. Even those who played this title from the very beginning will say that Dayz is at its best with mods. We are very fortunate enough in today's generation to see a huge growth in open world survival games. These genres are getting better and better by the year. As the player demand increases, and so does the competition. There is more and more talented gaming developers stepping up to the plate. In the last couple of years, we have received titles like Valheim, Icarus, Deadside, Dead Poly, Surround Dead, and list could just go on and on. But the game that truly wanted to compete with Dayz, and it might have never been intentional by the way, and I'm certain Scum is the game that appears to be very detrimental for Dayz. Dayz has always been the main focus of realism. That's only one of the few factors that made Dayz so uniquely designed. For the longest time, Dayz was known to others as the most realistic open world survival game to ever exist. The rare detail with its realism seemed to be so surreal back in the day, but now it's becoming more of a new norm. So what did Scum do? Well, they took that realism to a whole nother level. They introduced diseases that were never present in Dayz, let alone let's not talk about the nutritional system in Scum because that could be very well a whole different video on its own. Let's just say that it's very complex to say the very least. It goes in such detail to the point where you know how fat or muscular your character is. It goes as far as listing the vitamins your character is missing. It's absolutely ridiculous how detailed Scum really gets. How about assets, weapons, clothing, and vehicles? Well, Scum has them beat on this one too. Every time I run around in Dayz and look for supplies, it is normal for me to run into the same item I've seen 20-40 minutes ago twice. It's normal. Scum on the other hand, it could be days into the gameplay and I will still find stuff that I've never seen before. Scum is also one of the few survival games like Dayz that managed to implement a whole economy system in their game. The vanilla version of Scum also features airplanes, which was only available through mods with Dayz. New players that wanted to give Dayz a chance, well, they were mostly killed by established and more experienced players on servers. If you have very poor internet access, Dayz isn't the game for you. Well, how's Scum doing anything different? They have a single player mode available that requires no internet. That way, if you want to test the waters, so to speak, guess what? You can. You can also modify single player options by increasing loot, tweaking economy, and everything else. Now, keep in mind, I'm comparing vanilla versions of Scum. I don't even know what modded Scum will feel like, nor do I want to find out because there is already plenty of content as it is. I'm not here to aim at Dayz and take the spotlight away from it. That's not my intention in this video. However, based on Dayz's current performance, it's sad to acknowledge that it is no longer the same. I remember watching Dayz and receiving pure gratification by simply watching people play it. That same gratification faded away and I never received it back ever since. Even developers themselves seem to spread their team in groups and begin to work on other projects. They still release updates here and there, but they're nowhere near comparable to Scum's dedication, let alone performance. Let's compare the numbers real quick. Scum released in 2018. Its rated as mostly positive and its all-time peak number is 68,031. Dayz standalone was released in 2018, but it has existed as a mod ever since 2013. Back in the day, due to Dayz mod being so overwhelmingly successful, they decided to release it as a full-on project. And it was a wonderful idea, by the way. But let's go back to the chart real quick. Dayz's all-time peak is 58,240. Now, is that a healthy peak for a game that was in existence ever since 2013? Just think about it. If Dayz was solely released in 2018, those numbers would be great. But the game made a name for itself ever since Nokia slider phones were a big deal. Now, comparing the performance between Dayz and Scum, there is a huge difference. Obviously, Dayz is running on older engine compared to Scum. We're comparing Infusion and Unreal Engine here. We all enjoy playing Dayz and found the realistic graphics and open world super immersive, but one thing that all Dayz players know is that the car physics are so bad. After months you might find a car and then begin to drive down the hill or something, and then you just blast off into space from a glitch. Now supposedly this is the year, you guys. The year they will finally get to work on cars, and they have been, by the way. But I feel like this should have been done a long time ago. Now if the game just released, that would be understandable, but we are going back as far as 2013 once again. A lot of good things came out of Dayz. It set a standard as to what a true immersive open world should feel like, especially the apocalyptic open world. Instead of splitting your team up and trying to make money from multiple projects, it would have been ideal for them to solely commit to this one project and get it done, because at the end of the day there's a community here that wants this game to succeed. I mean, Dayz is the original open world survival zombie game. Dayz was essentially Mario to open world survival fanatics. Why would you want to get rid of that or throw that away and not feel motivated enough to make this title shine? Scum is nowhere done or perfect either, but the amount of work that went into it, it's ridiculous. I've mentioned this before in my previous videos, but Scum is slowly becoming everything Dayz couldn't be. Seeing Bohemia Interactive doing wonderful work around Icarus or even Vigor makes me question their determination when it comes to Dayz, especially seeing how great those titles perform. Imagine if Dayz performed just as good as Vigor. Now I know they're made on two different engines, and I'm not saying recode everything in Dayz to a newer engine. That would be a very difficult task to do. But come on now, it's 2022 and we're just now getting to fixing cars in Dayz. It's about that time. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Once again, I'm not here to take the light or hate on Dayz at all, but over the course of a year or two, I found myself falling in love with Scum for so many reasons, not the least of which appears to be the performance of Scum. I think Dayz set a standard a very long time ago, and Scum has officially made a new one. This was your boy Roos, and I'm out.